Hi, it's Laura at the Rose Photography Company. I wanted to put together a little series of editing videos that just show some really common tips and tricks that I use while editing. And I came across this one. I was in the middle of editing this newborn's gallery, and looking at his flaky skin, I just decided this would be a really good example to show you how I remove flaky skin from a newborn. Now, in lifestyle photography, I often try not to remove flaky skin unless the client's requested me to. I quite like how it adds to, it shows how new the baby is, and it really adds to the image in a lot of cases. This one, however, what I'm going to do, my aim for this image is I want to darken this dark right hand side and lighten the left hand side and get a really contrasty dark black and white. And for me, this flaky skin isn't really adding anything. So I'm going to show you what I do. So what I do is I take the image into Photoshop. I'm going to press Command and J and duplicate that layer. Then I'm going to go Filter and then Noise, Dust and Scratches. I'm going to take both the radius and the threshold right down to 0. And I'm going to stick this square over a kind of like a mid-problematic flake. These are the really bad ones here. And I know what I'm doing is probably going to get rid of them, but I want to see what it does to these ones here. They're a little bit bigger. So I'm going to pull the radius up until they disappear. So I can still see, you can just see the little bit of white here. So I'm just going to raise it a bit more to about 16 seems to be good. And then I'm going to raise the threshold until some of that detail just comes back again. So for me, for this, it's looking like it's nice and clear at around 28. So I'll leave it there. And you can see here, if I turn that on and off, sort out those problematic ones. It hasn't sorted those larger ones. So what I'm probably going to do is either I'll go in and I'll see if I can do that again, but just concentrate on those larger ones once I've sorted out these smaller flakes, or I'm going to use the patch tool and just patch them away. So I'm going to see what method works for this particular image. So now I've got that dust and scratch layer on, I'm going to click on the mask and invert that. So I invert by pressing Command and I. I'm working on a Mac here though. And then go over to the brush. Make sure the brush is on white. And then it's as simple as that. I just brush off those flakes. And this is a wonderful way of sorting out the problematic skin. So as you can see, it's kind of smoothing over bits of the baby that I don't want to be smoothed. And there's a really easy fix with that. All I'm going to do there is, because they weren't big flakes, they weren't very problematic, is I'm going to make my brush quite large. I'm going to put it back on black and then drop the opacity to about 5. And just lightly bring back some of that detail that we lost. So let me see, there we go. And you can see the difference that's made is huge. And I haven't lost any of the detail either. So I'm going to flatten that, duplicate that layer again. And just because I'm showing you this method, I actually think that the patch tool would work better, but I want to show you again as I'm showing you this method. So noise, dust and scratch layer, and I'm going to raise it until these flakes disappear this time. So it's looking like it's going to be quite high for these. So 38 for the radius, and the threshold is around, it's around 9. So that is very, very smooth. I'm going to invert the layer on the mask, drop that brush down, make sure the opacity is up again, and then here we go. So that is a really easy way of getting rid of it. But because that has heavily smoothed over that part of the image, what I would do if I was sticking with this method is I would then go and if I pop that a layer on there, add noise, and there you go. You can see by adding the noise back in, it actually needs to be a little bit higher. I would say it needs to be around, probably around 9-ish, from 9 or 10. And then take it off and mask it back on on just that patch. And that is a really easy way to blend that back in. And you wouldn't even know that anything's happened to that. So there we go. Done.